Mark, we know you are the Managing Director of Cambridge Natural Mattress, but I believe you're also involved in the invention of the Cottonsafe material and the fabric. Can you tell us a little more about how it started?
I suppose it really goes back to 1988 when they introduced the UK fire regulations for furniture. At the time I was involved in making cotton mattresses, which were basically cotton fillings, completely natural product with a cotton outer material, and we were told at the time that we would have to fireproof the mattress cover and the mattress filling. We didn't quite realise what this was going to mean, but we thought it was slightly strange because, as with a lot of the mattress regulations, when you think of what goes on top of a mattress, i.e. a mattress cover, the sheets, the duvet cover and everything that goes on top of the mattress is not treated. So if you end up treating the mattress, then surely the rest is going to burn anyway, so it seemed a bit of an illogical step forward. But however, we were told that that's what we had to do, and we had to buy the natural cotton in back coated, and we had to spray the cotton filling or the fibre with they spray it with a thin film of oil, and then it was covered in boracic acid powder. This was then meant to be a fire retardant product.
Right.
Boracic acid is interesting because a lot of the fire retardants are actually based or come from insecticides. A lot of them, there's a link between the two products there, which I think still goes on into this present day. Anyway, we decided to carry on manufacturing, but we found that when the cotton turned up, a lot of the boracic acid, because it wasn't actually stuck to the cotton, tended to come off almost immediately and end up on the workshop floor. We also found that the cotton on the back coating on the cotton was quite thick, and originally it seemed to be well adhered to the cotton. But what we did find that occasionally when we had the odd mattress back and we had to put an extra filling in or to thicken the mattress, which we did for one or two people, we found that the back coating had actually started to come off.
Right.
And in some cases the inside of the cotton inside the mattress was covered in the back coating as a loose powder, as well as the boracic acid powder. We suddenly realised that then as an employer you're responsible for the people who are working in your unit. So we asked for this health and safety sheets and found that the chemicals used on the back coating were antimony trioxide and chlorinated alkanes, as well as a plasticizer. These chemicals, you do not need very much of them before you go way over the safety limits as far as getting your workforce to actually deal with them. Which then worried me even more, because I thought, well, hang on a minute, this product is becoming loose inside mattresses and pieces of furniture. And eventually, as basically a mattress is a big bellows and a sofa is a similar setup, then when it's compressed, that this powder is going to start coming out of the product. We decided then we had to do something about it, so we managed to get rid of the boracic acid from the fillings, still being told by the suppliers that the boracic acid was still okay. What was quite interesting, in 2012 boracic acid was actually banned in the UK, but what happened between 1988 and 2012, where that product has gone, of course, like most things, when it's banned it's just left in people's houses.
So what did they use instead of boracic acid?
We decided to go down the lane of using wool, because wool is a natural fire retardant. We decided that we needed to get rid of all these fire retardants. At the time we tried to not use them, but it was obvious that when the law was passed that you had no option. So we decided to go down the wool option and put a wool barrier inside the mattress. This still left the problem with the back coating, and the only way around that would be to make a wool cover, a mattress with a wool cover. But as you know, wool, unless you go for very expensive wool is quite bristly, and if you put a sheet or a thing like that over a mattress, a cover, then the wool will tend to pierce through the actual cotton. So we knew that we weren't going to be able to achieve anything until we managed to produce a cotton style mattress cover.
So won't organic cotton simply pass a test on its own?
Organic cotton, we've tried it with organic cotton and with wool underneath it as our normal fibres, and we've tested it a number of times and it's failed.
Right.
And we felt that if we were going to do something, that it had to be, one, it had to be safe, and two, it had to pass all the fire regulations. There was no point in just going our own way and hoping that it was going to be okay. So we decided to do a lot of testing. We tried, we were at that stage dealing in many countries around the world, and nobody seemed to produce a product. So what we did was we went to a mill in the north of England, and we said to them, look, this is the type of product we need. We know that wool will give a certain amount of fire retardancy, and can we start mixing the cottons and wool together to have a cotton style product that actually had the wool interwoven in it. We were lucky in some respects that you can't just mix the two fabrics and get a fire retardant product. We were lucky in that with the experience of the mill, that we managed to come up with a fibre that eventually did pass the test.
So is it some sort of blend?
It's a blend of basically of wool or cotton, but it's how the product is actually blended together. The first time we did it, we thought we'd just get it past the mattress test. There's three types of tests in the fire regulations. First one is the mattress test, where you're just dealing with a flat surface, and fire doesn't automatically light a flat surface, it likes a vertical surface. So the next test is then the upholstery test, where you have it simulates the back of a sofa and the seat of a sofa, and that gives it a vertical surface, so that tends to be a tougher test. And then the third test is the contract test, which is for hotels and contract areas. We found that the first test it passed easily, and we thought that may be the main test that we should put it through. And it enabled us to basically make mattresses without any fire retardants whatsoever. In fact, it passed that test so well that we decided to then take the test for upholstery, because we were also making futons at the time, and the futon is classified as a sofa because obviously it's made into a sofa with that vertical back. So we put it through what's called an L-shaped rig test, which basically tests for that. And we were pleasantly surprised it passed the sofa test as well. And then finally, it was almost as an afterthought, we thought, well, if it's passed both of those tests, would it pass the contract test? And we put it forward to a contract test, and to our surprise and pleasure, as it were, we found that it passed the contract test. So we then felt that we had a product that we could sell to make people's furniture safer. But secondly, at this stage we were getting more involved in actually fighting the fire regulations, and not the fire regulations, no, that's not true. Not fighting the fire regulations because we feel that they're a very logical thing to have, and obviously a safe thing to have. We were fighting the way that the fire regulations were actually achieved. We felt at the time that the government had basically not looked at it properly, that they had given it to a very small group of people to come up with these various tests, and rather than coming to the trade and saying, are there different ways of passing these tests? Yeah. It was basically, we feel, given to the chemical companies, and I feel that was a mistake, because what happens then is you come up with various chemicals that you can use to treat your fabric, some of which have not been that successful, a number of which have now been banned in the United States due to a lot of concern about, one, the safety of the various chemicals used, and two, when these chemicals are burned, the carcinogenic effects that they say are linked to them. And this is mainly brought forward by the firefighters in America, who have been lobbying it's been the actual firefighters of all people, who've been lobbying to get this product banned.
So why hasn't it been banned in the UK?
That's a good question. I know that the American firefighters have vehemently campaigned and lobbied to get this product, to get many types of this product banned. I know that the firefighters in Europe, this product didn't go into Europe, they stopped it going into Europe, a lot of it. And I know the Firefighters Union in Europe are also campaigning to get it banned.
You mean getting the fire retardant chemicals?
The fire retardant chemicals banned. But for some reason it hasn't happened in the UK. In fact, the UK now is one of the few major countries actually using fire retardant chemicals for its furniture and in homes and things like that. Now, there's a big argument to say that, okay, we use these fire retardant chemicals and it saves lives. One would argue that when this product was introduced, that at roughly the same time that the smoke detectors were also introduced in this country, and one could also argue that the biggest saving of life, or the drop in people dying in fires is just as much to do with or if not is more so, to do with the actual smoke detector than the fire retardants. In fact, there are a number of tests going forwards at the moment which would actually prove that the fire retardants give out more smoke. Depends on the fire retardant, of course.
So what is the future for Cottonsafe?
Well, as I mentioned, we have a patent now with the mill to produce this product, and because we feel it's such a good product, because obviously it is continuous. It's fire retardant for its life. It's not just something that's applied that then wears off. We feel that this really should be the beginning of looking at different ways, cleverer ways of weaving materials, especially natural materials, to bring out different forms of Cottonsafe. We are looking at this at the moment, and we have had some advances in that area. We hope to work with 1 or 2 European companies as well in the future to make sure that this product is freely available in Europe. At the moment, we have to progress and obviously make sure that people have the option to use it, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be safe, but we feel that people should have an option. They should have an option between the chemicals and an option between the natural side, and it's a matter of choice. And Cottonsafe should be there as a choice, and if you want to be safe from fire and you want to be safe from chemicals, then we feel that Cottonsafe is the natural way forward.